levels of taqwa, your levels of iman. And this is one of the reasons as to why we Muslims, we do consider fasting, specifically the holy month of Ramadan. I request Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us with taqwa amidst our fasting of this noble month of Ramadan. Barakallahu fikum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Brought to you by UBC TV and Star TV in partnership with Foundation, Muslim Compatibility.
Up next on UBC, brought to you by...
Keep the lights on. Use Airtel Money to pay for all your Yaka bills conveniently. Open the My Airtel app to buy Yaka units. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Let's take a look at the headlines. We apologize for that. Let's get started. President Yoweri Museveni, who is also the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, has met with the country's Security High Command, during which they discussed the successful handling of pandemics, including COVID-19, and the security situation in the Karamoja region. The President commended the UPDF for their efforts in enforcing COVID-19 standard operating procedures when the pandemic was at its peak week. He also added that if it weren't for the indiscipline of some opposition groups during campaigns that led to the second wave of the virus, Uganda would have lost few people. President Museveni also hailed the UPDF for the fight against the locusts and more recently detecting elements that wanted to make Uganda ungovernable during the presidential elections 2021. The president briefed the High Command about the progress of the Operation Shuja in DRC and assured them that the operation is moving on well and soon ADF will be normal. Mr. Museveni said that this was all because of the good planning and strategies of the UPDF. Operation Shuja is being implemented following a memorandum of understanding between the government of Uganda and that of DRC to conduct joint operations for the eradication of ADF and other foreign armed groups in the eastern part of DRC. Now, on the issue of cattle rustling in Karamoja, President Museveni said that there should be no cows stolen from anyone and that government is going to work on roads in the region to facilitate the swift security operations. During the same meeting, President Museveni commissioned 5 major officers at the ranks of lieutenant and second lieutenant who have been undergoing basic military training cadet courses in Kenya, United Kingdom and Jamaica, respectively. Now, the meeting was attended by the Minister for Defense, Vincent Bamulanga Chisempija, the CDF, General Wilson Mbadi, the State Minister for Defense, Jacob Oboth, the Coordinator, Operation Wealth Creation, General Salim Saleh, Senior Presidential Advisor on Peace and Security, Lieutenant General Proskovia Nalweiso, and officers of the High Command, among others. Meanwhile, President Yoweri Museveni has met and held discussions with the Church of Uganda leaders led by the Archbishop of Church of Uganda, the Most Reverend Dr. Samuel Kazimba Mugalu. The meeting took place at State House in Entebbe. Now, the meeting that was attended by the Bishop of Kitgum Diocese discussed the development of Janan Luwom site at Muichwini in Kitgum District. Church of Uganda is planning to build St. Janan Luwom Memorial Stadium in memory of the late Janan Luwom, the 3rd Archbishop of Uganda, who was killed by the former President of Uganda, Idi Amin Dada. Speaking to the delegation, President Museveni welcomed the idea of the memorial stadium, saying it will promote religion and tourism in the area. The President Museveni advised the church to expand the idea and integrate the sports sector so that the site can also make money through events such as sports competitions, music concerts and political gatherings. Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija, assured the church delegation that government will budget for the Janan Memorial Stadium in the 2023-24 financial year. The State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Okello Oryem, who is coordinating the committee to realize the Janan Luwom Memorial Stadium, revealed that the project will cost a total of 78.6 billion shillings. The Archbishop of Uganda, the Most Reverend Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, thanked the President for encouraging the church to start the project, which will help promote faith-based tourism.
Many things. I also want to say that with the God's blessing and your presence in the leadership, we have a heart and we are going to start faithfully that things will happen. Our task is to mobilize the Christian to join. This money sounding is not only from the government, and we also need to participate. We also, otherwise it will be a government thing. It has also to be community thing. But then that is the total. But we shall thank God for all the contribution which is coming.
Now, Speaker of Parliament Anita Among has called and challenged the Muslim community to dedicate this year's month of Ramadan towards helping the needy. She encouraged Muslims to strengthen their relationship with the Almighty. Now, this was during the annual Iftar dinner held at the Ugandan Parliament. She also offered a 50 million shilling financial support towards the construction of Al Hidayah Mosque in Kaboa of Rubaga Division. Let's take a look.
You are the only person who has occupied the office of Deputy Speaker and Speaker in the same term of office. I want to believe that this is a strong vote of confidence that you can steer this august House to the highest levels. And I want to say that having our project of Kadhi's Courts among the business of your parliament shall just add a big credit to your achievements.
This is the highest attendance of the Iftar dinner in the history of these dinners. This is the highest. The list of introductions here from the diplomatic community, the religious leaders, only show and confirm that this is the highest attendance we have had. On behalf of the Muslim Parliamentary Caucus, I want to thank all of you for coming in big numbers, and I want to particularly thank the Right Honourable Speaker for making this happen.
The first will say, "Oh Lord, I preserved him from this food and the desires during that day. Let me intercede for him." The above expression highlights the importance of fasting, and I encourage the Muslim fraternity, the Muslim brothers in Uganda and all over, to take advantage of this month of Ramadan to multiply their praises and worship the Almighty Allah. I am aware of the rewards that come with providing this kind of dinner during the fasting period, and I believe today, as Parliament of Uganda, we are going to get all the blessings because of providing this kind of dinner. I encourage all the Muslim brothers and sisters to dedicate this year's Ramadan to giving to the poor. As we retreat to our homes, we should not forget the less privileged people who cannot provide for themselves. And that's why we felt as Parliament, we should be able to see and show an example that we are providing for the people who may not be able to provide for others. And on that note, therefore, that's why today in this dinner, we want to give the less privileged from the Kaboa Mosque. The office of the Speaker is giving that mosque 50 million shillings. Can the leader of that mosque come and take? I also want to assure the Muslim community, as Parliament of Uganda,
Oh, well, now the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Finance and Secretary to the Treasury, Ramadan Gobi, has appealed to the public to remain calm about the escalating prices on essential commodities, with the assurance that there are ongoing high-level engagements with stakeholders on market commodity price stabilization. However, Gobi also warned market players on offering subsidies and reducing prices rather of commodities, citing dangers of crippling the economy. economy. He made the remarks at the release of the fourth quarter expenditure and economic performance for the financial year 2021-22.
The Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has released the fourth quarter expenditure and economic performance for financial year 2021-2022. A 44.7 trillion shillings budget was approved for the financial year 2021-2022, according to the Permanent Secretary and the Secretary to Treasury at the Ministry of Finance, Ramadan Gobi. The cumulative domestic revenue collections between July 2021 to February 2022 amounted to 13.7 trillion shillings against the target of 14.7 trillion shillings, leading to a deficit of 1 trillion shillings, attributing the fall to COVID-19 restrictions, among other barriers.
The performance for the first 8 months was relatively weaker, actually the first half year, mainly because the economy was still under lockdown. Some sectors were not allowed to perform at all.
The budget release indicates the total revenue collections are expected to rise to 21 trillion shillings at the end of the financial year, with an overall shortfall of 1.4 trillion shillings. The budget support loans of 2.4 trillion shillings were expected by end of March 2022, though by March 30th, 2022, only 1.9 had been disbursed. However, the total budget support loans of 4.3 trillion shillings will be projected at the end of the financial year. The quarter four release prioritized health and social protection, agriculture and industry, security and presidency, governance, URA, judiciary, among others. Speaking about the skyrocketing prices for fuel and other essential commodities, Gobi said they cannot subsidize and reduce prices on commodities, citing possibilities of affecting the economy once the players in the market store that line.
So the Treasury will be funding them. So we are not going to subsidize. That's number one. We are not going to control prices also. You need to know that's bad economics also. You control prices, you create so many unintended consequences. Government is considering short and medium-term interventions to ensure availability of essential commodities.
Initially, the Line Minister of Agriculture and Uganda Coffee Development Authority withdrew Uganda's membership to the International Board of Coffee Exporting Countries and opted to sign an agreement with Uganda Vinci Company, aiming at improving the quality of its coffee exports to the world market. However, Gobi assured Ugandans that the withdrawal has no harm.
A 60,000 ton capacity coffee processing plant, which has ever been proposed or built in this country. And it is going to support the realization of the government target of increasing coffee production from the current 7 million bags, which translate into a total of 420,000 metric tons of coffee per year.
Gobi also highlighted about the delay for the completion of Luboa International Specialized Hospital, which he says will be completed by September 2024.
The project was due for commissioning this year, and consequent lockdown, which commenced in March 2020 until January 2022, caused further delays after heavy rains between September 2019 and January 2020.
Ivan Juko, Edith Flower Namuleme, UBC News.
Now, Uganda People's Defence Forces has lashed out at the National Unity Platform President Robert Kyagulanyi for spreading what it calls falsehoods about the security situation in Karamoja sub-region. In an interview with the Ministry of ICT Digital Media Team, the UPDF spokesperson, Brigadier General Felix Kulaije, warned that the Karamoja incident should not be discussed by amateurs and propagandists.
Ugandans, it's not, but that's how unpatriotic Ugandans are.
For the last 1 month, the wanting security station in Karamoja sub-region has been a concern to many. Although it has been true that the security station was unstable, propagandists have largely distorted information from the region.
Women were raped, men were castrated, and others, terrible things are happening to them.
These remarks by the NUP party president while attending last week's Human Rights Geneva Summit is what the UPDF is now referring to as hypocritical attacks.
And for me, I'm sorry I don't take him serious. Because in the same breath in Geneva he said To oppose Museveni, you must be out of the country. If you are not out of the country, you are either in jail or in the grave. But he returned. Is he in the grave? Is he in jail?
UPDF urges Chagulanyi and others to desist from tarnishing the country's image.
When you go indeed taking the image of your institution, your country, he thinks he's making marks for himself, but he's destroying the country. Should he be prosecuted? You know your politics in this country. It will be harassment of a political opponent. They will ignore the damage he's doing to the country.
During an interaction with the Minister of ICT Digital Media Team, the UPDF spokesperson Brigadier General Felix Kulaije noted that all forms of interventions are being made to restore peace in the area.
We have continued to recover stolen animals. We have continued to arrest the thieves. We have also improved on deployments. Where there are gaps, they have been filled. So there is quite a lot of progress being done on the ground.
Kulaije, however, faults a section of local leaders in the region for undermining key government interventions.
Some benefit from it, others for political expedience. You find you capture a thief or a rustler and they tell you don't take him to court, just use him for information. And yet when we don't get them, we are failing in our job.
The Kenyan Takana Assailants, who recently killed Ugandan geologists and UPDF officers, have since then been surrendered to UPDF, and according to Kulaije, they now await trial.
They were being escorted. Now it's when they split themselves into smaller groups that they were able to be ambushed by the Turkana warriors. We have been able to recover the guns that were taken from the UPDF soldiers. We have been able to recover to get the criminals, and we're going to charge them in our court.
Although many are proposing the reintegration of Arrow boys to beef up security in Karamoja, government is still hesitant to heed to this call. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
We have always argued that the best followers of Jesus Christ are soldiers.
And now the Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Dr. Mary Goreti Kitutu, has urged Karamojong leaders to also always advocate for peace among locals in order to allow development in the area. Kitutu was addressing a community capacity peace building in the north, citing that Karamoja is a beneficiary of 20 million euros from Germany to set up mega water sources in Kotido and Amudat, but the donors had threatened cancelling the grant due to insecurity.
The Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Dr. Mary Goreti Kitutu, and the Deputy Director General Internal Security Organization, Lieutenant Colonel Emi Katabazi, have met with leaders and locals of Nakabati, Napompom, Panyanara, Nalaperumoru sub-counties in Kotido district to discuss how to restore peace in the Karamoja sub-region.
Now for the Karachuna, my sons, I'm happy that you have been very firm here to tell us that. Make an attempt to specifically request the president if he can meet you, that is in a team doing.
I'm here to come and discuss with the leaders, both the internal security staff and the ROC3, ROC5 and councillors, and we get a solution to this problem.
Most residents here who confirmed that they were armed decried the challenges of participating in the voluntary disarmament introduced at the beginning of Usalama kwa Wote last year.
I've been asking you people to give us projects that can sustain them. For us, since we have not gone to school, their contract is to go and stay to see them. They don't care whether you kill me now and I die. Because when you come back home, there is nothing to eat.
They took the guns that they handed over peacefully. Why don't we show example to appreciate the ones that brought their guns peacefully? For those other groups to admire, for those other, so they bring their guns also peacefully.
Some threaten to go and buy more guns if government does not pay attention to them.
Government fails to go and follow his animals. He is also now against the mindset of looking for a gun to procure so that he goes and follows for his animals.
We don't have a dam in Kotido. Outside, we go looking for water in those other areas. As you go there, by the time you are leaving, you have already identified or seen some animals. At the end of the day, you go back and steal those cows. If my water was within Kotido, I would not be going to see what is happening.
Katabazi blamed Karima Jongs for buying firearms instead of embarking on development.
These guns, whether you think you are good at target, whether you think you can have 20, these guns will not develop Karamoja.
Katabazi also warned Karima Jongs on dangers of acquiring guns, that their minerals will benefit other people.
When we continue carrying these guns of these white people, we shall kill each other until nobody is left and they will take what is down here.
Minister Chitutu urged leaders to advocate for peace, to allow development in the area so that Karamoja can benefit from the 20 million euros grant from Germany to facilitate construction of water sources in districts like Kotido and Moroto.
To Karamoja area, and Kotido is supposed to benefit, I think, by getting a 3 million cubic meter dam. Another area to benefit is Moroto, and another one down that Samdat, those prayer belts. And he's telling me that this is coming from Germany, the funding, that's KFW. And they are saying that if the security situation in Karamoja does not improve, we might halt the funding.
Now, the Archbishop of Kampala Diocese, His Grace Paul Semogedede, has urged priests to lead their parishioners with humility in fulfillment of the ministry of priesthood. This was during the celebration of Charisma Mass at Luboa Cathedral.
Kampala Archdiocese has celebrated Charisma Mass at prayers held at Luboa Cathedral. In such a Mass, priests converge to show oneness with their bishop, which is symbolized by the holy oil, celebrate the institution of Holy Eucharist that takes place on Holy Thursday.
Oneness is symbolized by the blessing of the holy oils, sacred chrism, and all of the sick and all of the catechumens, which are blessed by the bishop and then will be distributed in various parishes and institutions for the administration of the sacraments.
The Archbishop of Kampala Diocese, His Grace Paul Semogedede, was the main celebrant.
We have had Jesus' mission statement. The Spirit of the Lord is on me because He has anointed me. Proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, set the oppressed free. This mission statement should also be our mission statement in our ministry.
The Archbishop challenged priests and Christians to manifest the beauty of Christianity through doing things that are in line with Christianity.
All manifest the beauty of the Christian faith by living virtuous lives free of corruption, free of greed, free of promiscuity, intolerance, violence, and all behaviors which are not in line with the teaching of Christ.
Priests in Kampala Diocese renewed their vows to priesthood, and 8 seminarians pledged to become deacons someday. They were all blessed by the Archbishop. I'm Nafka Farida and Dan Lugemwa in Luboa.
Meanwhile, the Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubaje, has appealed to education planners to adopt the Islamic curriculum in all schools to enable Quran memorization at a large scale. The Mufti was officiating at the Quran recitation competitions, intending to preserve its holiness.
Third Quran memorization and recitation competition was organized by the Mohammed VI Foundation of African Islamic Schools, Ugandan chapter. Mufti appealed for the adoption of the Islamic curriculum in all schools, both Muslim and non-Muslim schools.
We need this Quran to be taught in all schools, not only the madrasas, not only the Muslim-founded schools, but even government-aided schools. We are trying all the best to see that even in other schools which are not Muslim-founded, where we find our Muslim children, they should be able to study the Quran. That freedom of worship should be granted to them.
This is one of the initiatives to promote Quran memorization and recitation amongst the young generation in combating moral decadency.
Its preservation basically has been through this kind of work of memorization. Of course, Quran is very important. You know that it is in the Quran that we get all our values, all our teachings, and it becomes of more importance, more especially today to the young generation, because of the new world we are living in today, which is so advantageous because of the technological development.
These have competed in 3 categories of Tajweed, Riwayat al-Hafsi, and Thalith. The top 3 are set to represent the Ugandan Muslim community in the next stage of Continental in Morocco. Abdul Nasser Luboa, UBC News.
Well, with that, we take a quick break. We return with more details. This is News Tonight.
Today in history.
South Africa held its third democratic elections on 14th April 2004. A total of 20.6 million people were registered to vote, making it 2 million more than the 1999 elections. The 2004 election marked a decade of democracy in South Africa. The first democratic elections had taken place exactly a decade earlier.
Need to send money to a loved one but you don't have enough on your phone? Have you run out of fuel but you don't have enough money? Do you want to pay for yaka or water but have insufficient funds? Or do you want to shop but you don't have enough money? Don't worry, get away with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial *165*5*3# to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
This is how we play. Play with power.
This is how we do it.
How we put a team together. This is how we pass on greatness. Because with this team to inspire us, there's nothing we can't do.
Go for goals and win. Buy a Pepsi glass bottle or Pepsi Max 330 ml. Check another crown and win soda, TVs, caps, t-shirts and cash. Redeem prizes at any Pepsi depot or truck countrywide. Terms and conditions apply. Pepsi, for the love of it.
Choose our with Airtel Money Quick Loans. Get a top-up loan when you have insufficient funds to buy airtime, pay utility bills, or make payments at a local supermarket. Complete your transaction and pay later. Dial *185*7*10# to opt in. Get an Airtel Money Quick Loan and pay later. Choose our with Airtel Money Quick Loans in partnership with Housing Finance Bank and powered by Yabex. Airtel, the smartphone network.
A World Cup in the desert?
the first one in the Middle East, the first to be held at the end of the year. That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves, high-flying saves, unbelievable goals, out-of-this-world celebrations.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV. Love it.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. Mwangaza Light African Revolutionary Study Group Center has been launched in Ankole sub-region. The initiative seeks to address ideological confusion in communities. Senior Presidential Advisor in charge of political affairs, David Masfavi, has launched the center at Makerere University Business School, Mbarara City.
I read books of Africa at large. You have books, but come and explain.
A senior presidential advisor in charge of political affairs, David Mafavi, has launched Mwangaza African Revolutionary Study Group in Mbarara City.
The Mwangaza Study Groups is space for thinking together, for discussing together about the challenges of today and where we need to be tomorrow.
Mafabi says the purpose of the center is to promote dialogue and to create space to find solutions of current and future challenges where the truth is taught.
Study of our problems, study of our challenges, to assist our people understand where we are, where we have been, and where we need to go. His Excellency the President has identified what he has called ideological disorientation.
Resident City Commissioner Mbarara, Lieutenant Colonel James Mwesije, said the new program of Mwangaza African Revolutionary Study will encourage people to love their country.
People to love their country as Uganda, to love their continent as Africa, to make sure that we work hard and the entire Africa is liberated from poverty. Uganda is liberated from poverty.
The Deputy RCC Mbarara City, Kanusu Robert, explained that Mwangaza Revolutionary Study Group has a purpose of orienting the youth into leadership and self-management.
Mwangaza Study Group is busy moving throughout all the public universities in the country to orient young men, to nurture young men, to bring them on board so that we move together.
The center was launched at Makerere University Business School, Mbarara, at the District Council Hall, Kamukozi, Mbarara City.
The study groups that have been created will help us to discuss ideas, share different ideologies that can help us to get solutions to our problems as Africa. Because
I'm Nafka Farida and Frederick Anyine.
We have the same problem.
And Uganda National Farmers Federation and VI Agroforestry are implementing a green livelihood youth project in the districts of Arua, Ajamani to decrease on unemployment. The Director Agribusiness Uganda National Farmers Federation, Peter Chisambira, says the increased unemployment in the districts of Yumbe and Ajamani have been aggravated by the influx of refugees and asylum seekers.
Creation of employment opportunities remains one of the greatest challenges with a huge young population. The high unemployment has been attributed to low absorptive capacity of the economy as fewer jobs are created. Peter Chisambira says they seek to contribute to improved livelihoods of young people disaggregated by gender in Arua and Adjumani districts.
We also see a skills mismatch. The available youth don't have the necessary and requisite skills to be able to take up the employment opportunities that are currently available on the market. You might have heard that in Uganda, when you're looking for farm managers in the country, majority of the employers prefer to work with Kenyans. The same applies for the recreation sector.
Oteba Okodoi Kefa says youth are challenged with a low capital base to invest in core businesses that can transform their livelihood.
We support the creation of village savings and loan groups where through self-saving and borrowing, the youth are able to access some funds. And I must say, we are witnessing quite remarkable outcomes because youth are, from this, they are beginning to invest in agriculture and non-agricultural enterprises. For example, some have borrowed money and initiated retail businesses. Some have borrowed money and purchased livestock that they are multiplying. And some are even building houses.
Government has been urged to invest more in interesting young people in agriculture through mindset change trainings and provision of reliable information to enhance youth engagement in agriculture.
It's only in agriculture where you don't find a farmer retiring on the farm. And if we are to further involve these young people, we need to really advocate and see that we have farm succession. We have sustainable farms developed, and as the youth wing of UMFE, we are trying as much as possible to further see how youth can further be involved in this farming community. We want to see that our parents retire on farms, reach a time where they can pass over the farms to the next generation.
Uganda National Farmers Federation has a role of mobilization, organization and capacity building for youth and advocate for improved youth inclusive policies, among others. Sudat Kai, UBC News.
And death of the Speaker of Parliament, the former Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oulanyah, rendered the Omoro County parliamentary seat vacant. Against this backdrop, Electoral Commission declared the 26th of May as the polling day for the Member of Parliament of the county. A director mobilization at the NRM Secretariat, Rosemary Nansogaseninde, has therefore encouraged party members to remain calm, united and work together as the party prepares to announce its flag bearer.
NRM supporters in Omoro County constituency have been encouraged to remain calm, emphasize togetherness as the party prepares for a replacement of the fallen speaker, the late Jacob Oulanyah.
I want to appeal to the people of Omoro as the director in charge of mobilization, kindly and please be calm. Be calm. We are going to have primary elections if it is needed. We know the leader, the elders in that region are still trying to talk to the people who are expressing interest. But in case that time comes, I believe we shall have to get a candidate and then we shall have to go for elections. So please be calm.
Seninde, who was addressing parents and learners, supported by Vision Africa at Jide Primary School at Kasangati in Wakiso District, cautioned parents against allowing children with mobile phones to access the social media. The educationist Zephania Chiza Seninde appealed to government to support organizations aimed at promoting various sectors in the country, including education, health, clean water in the rural areas, among others.
Vision for Africa, for the work they do to pay school fees for their children and all other requirements which they are paying. It's not common everywhere for organizations to be trustworthy for what they are doing, to make sure that they send money. And we are lucky enough for the school fees they have been paying in the past, they have increased the amount of money they are going to pay for the children. They have increased starting next term.
Vision Africa's Elijah Musenja pledged to support the learners. Over 10,000 children have benefited across the country. Shaidat Nasaku, Fred Kasivante, UBC News.
And Buganda Road Court before Magistrate Sanula Nambozo has dismissed City Lawyer Hassan Maleva Birizi's application of being transferred from Luzira Maximum Prison to Makshan Bay or Chitalia, where he was committed to by the High Court, citing persecution by prison authorities. According to Magistrate Nambozo, this court has no jurisdiction to reverse the decisions of the High Court.
Embattled state lawyer Hassan Malema Bilizi, who is facing charges of offensive communication, has yet again appeared at Buganda Road Magistrates Court to proceed with the case. Before Magistrate Sandra Nambozo, Mabilizi made an interim application asking court to be transferred from Ruzila Maximum Prison to Chitalia, where he was committed to by the High Court citing violation of his rights.
If you want to proceed with her.
While delivering her ruling on this matter, the presiding magistrate Sanula Nambozo dismissed the application, citing that this court has no jurisdiction to reverse High Court's decision.
For reasons that accused person's allegations about violation of his rights and freedoms and liberties are not in any way related or connected to this instant case. Therefore, relating to the above case cited, which is a precedent binding on this court, I decline to grant the application of accused person Mr. Malema Bilizi because matters relating to abuse of one's human rights, liberties and freedoms is not a freelance matter. It is a matter that needs to be exhaustively handled, and so a formal application being filed by accused person is the right and proper procedure to be followed.
Following Magistrate Nambozo's ruling, Embattled Mabilizi made 3 applications requesting court to compel the superintendent of Ruzila prisons to grant him a mattress, a blanket, a net, among others.
Because the ward where I reside now, called Head 2, is actually an open space. It's made of iron bars just. So you spend the night when the wind is coming, mosquitoes are entering. As long as they lock, they think that is all. Secondly, that the said officer provides me with a clock or watch. That he provides me with my Dell laptop, which is in his possession, which I'm ready to use under his supervision.
However, this was objected to by the prosecution led by Joan Keko, saying that the accused is wasting court's time by prolonging the main case with no valid reason.
I'm just making a comment that I am surprised we are moving back and forth on an issue that we are supposed to inform court that we have taken over, and so be it. That being courteous, we are allowing for back and forth movements, which in my opinion is not necessary.
Magistrate Sandra Nambozo, after listening to both sides' submissions, adjourned the matter to the 6th of May 2022 to deliver her ruling on Mabilizi's application. Mabilizi is facing charges of offensive communication for insulting the person of Justice Musa Sekana. Nathan Rebecca, Namamonde Deborah, UBC News.
And the Rotary Club's fraternity, together with the Ministry of Health, have in partnership with the Buganda Kingdom organized a 3-day health camp to help the less privileged people in the country. This program will be launched on the 29th of April.
Means of extending healthy services to the less privileged people, the Rotary Club Fraternity, Buganda Kingdom and the Ministry of Health have established health camps countrywide. Peter Zake from Buganda Kingdom and Board Chairman Rotary says this health program is to prioritize maternal and child health to reduce on mortality rates in Uganda.
All those efforts geared at ensuring that we complement government in ensuring that the communities are healthy. It's a memorandum of understanding between Rotary Uganda and the Kingdom of Uganda, We are also having inroads through the Charazinga of Busoga and all other traditional institutions to mobilize communities as we serve to increase the health reach in the communities.
Governor John Magezi says the public needs more awareness over routine medical checkups to avoid unnecessary illnesses.
We need to increase awareness, and it's my call to all clubs. Let's increase awareness so that we have as many people as possible participating in the Rotary Family Health Days.
Rotarians advised people to utilize this chance to access the would-be high-cost health services free of charge.
We actually empower communities permanently. So the issue of sustainability is very important. Don't just go in, treat people and run away.
We'll be giving and guiding the areas that we need to see. For example, supporting antenatal care, supporting pregnant mothers and children with mother kits, which have cotton soap. You know, soap these days is expensive.
During this camp, services like cancer screening, child nutrition and immunization will be given to people. Brian Tumwenebyaruhanga, Andrew Sebira, UBC News.
And the increasing cases of dental complications among children and adults in the village of Chirekabira, Wakiso district, has prompted Paradise Medical Center to offer free medical and surgical services to the community. According to Dr. John E. Tengot of Paradise Medical Center, attributes the high cases to self-medical practices, which is a grave health risk. Dr. Slivia Nasazi, a senior dentist at Paradise Medical Center, says the number is high among children below 5 years.
Inaccessibility of public health services are the major contributors to high cases of self-medication practices to Ugandans. This has escalated cases of dental problems and other related health complications to children and adults.
Dental cases are quite many and mostly in kids, but one, I would take it on parents, that these days parents really don't take care of their kids' teeth. Reason being, they are so busy.
Dr. John Itengot of Paradise Medical Center says self-medication is a common practice among most vulnerable communities. He asserts it causes incorrect self-diagnosis and dosage, which is in itself health risk.
So there is a high chance that if this prescription is not from a doctor or someone who has the medical knowledge, most like either they may overdose themselves, which is so harmful to the different parts of that, to the different organs of the body that are involved in metabolizing this drug.
We are advising people to avoid self-medication, self-examination, self-treatment.
In this regard, Paradise Medical Center has organized a 3-day free medical and surgical camp to communities in Chirekabira and the surroundings to complement on government obligation of providing decent health services.
Because we have realized that the economic status of our people is not so good, so we thought that we should be able to complement the government effort of trying to advise the people about their medical and health issues so that they can live a better life.
Communities have been advised to avoid self-medication practices and seek medication from health centers. The area chairperson, Matthias Sengoza, commended Paradise Medical Center for extending a decent medical service to the communities. I'm Nafka Farida and Robert Bwaita.
And now we'll take a quick break. When we return, business news. This is News Tonight.
Even with my grandson, a doctor at my side, I struggled to get the help I needed. But he saw something that day. He began to work day and night. He wouldn't quit, even when people said no. He wouldn't stop fighting. He knew something had to change, and his vision was bigger than anyone could imagine. He made it possible to receive quality medical services anywhere in Uganda by simply using a phone.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Affordable packages, great entertainment, sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Everybody, Go TV, this is where our best stories live.
Get the best entertainment
entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Ugandan shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Pay for your dream phone, Mpola. Get your dream phone today for as low as 1,400 Uganda shillings with free data for a year and pay slowly. All phones come with daily 50 MBs for 12 months. Repayment period is 1 year. Available at MTN service centers and M-Kopa shops.
Welcome back. Now, in business news, increased cargo traffic to Uganda through Tanzania's Central Corridor has prompted the Secretariat to send a mission to Uganda to assess the state of key transport and logistics infrastructure. Now, the findings by the team will determine the areas and kind of support from the Central Corridor Transit Transport Facilitation Agency.
In the recent stakeholders consultative meeting held in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, Uganda's delegation made recommendations to the Central Corridor Transit Transport Facilitation Agency to support the upgrade and renovation of key infrastructure which are vital in the enhancement of trade along the route.
It is our hope that the role played by the Central Corridor to guide governments in the partner states to focus on projects and policy decisions that make the corridor very competitive in terms of cost of transportation, delays and other logistical challenges in doing business will be a thing of the past.
Uganda's submission included construction of a hard stand at the Uganda Railway Corporation, goods shed, allow the use of crew manifests instead of passports to clear the vessels as practiced internationally, remapping of navigational routes on Lake Victoria, upgrade of Rakai, Chikagati, Kafunjo Road, training of maritime officers, among others. A 5-day assessment visit by officials from the Central Corridor Secretariat to Uganda is aimed at ascertaining the state of infrastructure and give guidance on the nature of intervention. Some of the areas the team visited include Port Bell Ruzira, Uganda Railway Corporation headquarters in Kampala, Namasagali University that offers maritime training, Chikagati border in western Uganda, and inspected the Rakai Chikagati Kafunjo Road.
This is Rakai. We're going all the way to Isingiro. It is connected to Mutukula Masaka Kampala Road. It starts at Chotela and it goes to Isingiro. Basically, the justification given for this is promoting trade between Tanzania and Uganda as well as Rwanda.
It's roughly 100 kilometers. It's currently not very busy, but it has the potential. You see, when we are talking of road development, we are also looking at its potential for growth, because it's a shorter route to Mutukula from Chikagati, from Mirama. So we think that there is great potential for it to attract much more freight and transport of our people.
Uganda continues to record increased cargo traffic through the Central Corridor, and thus the need for improved infrastructure to ease transport and logistics services. Dennis Igoa and Charlotte Amuge for UBC News.
In sports, winners from the 2021 Annual Bankers Sports Gala have been crowned during a function hosted at Hotel Africana in Kampala. The gala that was halted due to COVID-19 restrictions then hosted virtually, witnessed action in several disciplines, including online chess and quiz, freestyle video presentation, and a 21-day fitness challenge. It was contested by over 20 banking institutions, including ABSA, BRAC Uganda, KCB, Thinker, DTB and Bank of Baroda. It was ultimately won by Ugaford Microfinance that garnered 225 points, with NCBA in a second on that's 215, while DFCU Bank was third with 210 points. It was organized by Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services and Uganda Bankers Association. Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services Chief Executive Officer Goreti Masade is grateful for the gala amidst the pandemic achieved its main aims of fitness, fun, entertainment and networking. The Institute's board chairperson, Michael Mugabe, is appreciative of the other role of financial literacy that the gala instilled in the public to allow them understand the merits of saving, however little they have. Well, that does it for News Tonight. Thank you for sticking with us. We'll leave you with Litubeda Juliet with the weather update. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Have yourselves a lovely night.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to today's segment of the Weather Report. I'm Alituela Juliet from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Around this period of the year, we normally experience heavy rains in different parts of the country. But for this particular period, we've had a series of low pressure systems over Indian Ocean that have sucked the moisture which would have come to our country to cause these rains, though a few areas are still experiencing wet weather activities. By 9 a.m. this morning, we had a rainfall report from Kitgum reporting 12 millimeters of rainfall. Soroti reported 8.4 millimeters. And from the satellite image taken over Africa, it indicates that we have moisture that is coming from Atlantic Ocean through Congo Forest towards the western sector of our country, contributing to the wet activities over there. We also have an escape of some southeasterlies that are coming into our country and carrying moisture, leading to these isolated rains. For tomorrow morning, we shall have light rains for areas around Lake Victoria Basin, some parts in central and in the northern sector. Elsewhere, we shall have sunny intervals. Later in the afternoon, we expect a pickup of light rains in different parts of our country. Maximum temperatures are expected to go high to 32 degrees centigrade for the northern and the northeastern. For the eastern region, we are expecting a maximum up to 31 degrees centigrade. Kampala at 27. Kasese, we expect it to be at 31 and 25 for Kabale Highlands. Elsewhere on the globe, we are expecting sunny conditions for Cairo and New York. New York at a maximum of 19 degrees centigrade. Tokyo, light rains are expected and a temperature of 13. Dubai and London, sunny intervals are expected and a very warm day in Dubai and a maximum of 42 degrees centigrade. Thank you for keeping me company. Join us tomorrow for another edition of the Weather Report. I wish you a wonderful Good Friday.